Hi everybody, and welcome in for your weekly dose of Trainer Talk Tuesday. So glad to have you in here. So today we're going to talk about disease prevention and reversal. So we know that all modern diseases, so when we talk about modern diseases, we're talking about things like cancer, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, but we're also talking about things that you may not associate with disease, things that you may have accepted as normal, like asthma or allergies or chronic fatigue. These things are also a part of modern day diseases, and we know that these things all have one thing in common, and that is inflammation. Inflammation in the body is the number one thing that all of these disorders, diseases, ailments have in common. So if preventing or reversing disease, if living the highest quality of life is a priority to you, if overall wellness and health and healing is a priority for you, then we have to look further into ways that we can rid the body of inflammation so we can put ourselves in a better position to prevent these diseases or to fight back against them. So guys, we're gonna get right into it. 5 things that you can start doing to reduce the inflammation that you have in your body right now. So we're gonna start with number 1 here, which is huge, which I'm sure you guys are probably gonna guess if you've ever watched my channel, is to eat an anti-inflammatory diet, okay? We know that 90% of all chronic disease is dietary. So when we talk about inflammation, then we have to look at nutrition as well, because the overwhelming majority of these modern diseases are caused by dietary choices. So if we want to get better nutritionally speaking, then we need to reduce the amount of inflammatory foods that we're consuming. Ideally, we should be eliminating them completely. And then we need to replace those inflammatory foods with foods that have anti-inflammatory properties. So what does that all mean? All right, guys, we're gonna get into it pretty quickly here. There are a lot of foods that cause inflammation, tons of them. The standard American diet alone is just inflammation. That's all that it is. And if we want to break these down into different categories, we can. So the main sources of inflammation that I see people consuming on a regular basis are going to be dairy. It's a huge one. huge component here. And unfortunately, the quality of our dairy that is being manufactured and that's, being highly produced is going to have this high inflammatory component to it. So dairy in general is inflammatory, all right? Then we put on top the quality of dairy that we're getting is causing us major issues. So dairy is a huge component. It also has very addictive properties. So you may have heard or you may have said things like this by yourself, that I'll never give up cheese. Like, I love cheese. Like, I have to have it. And we kind of make jokes about that, but it's very similar to being addicted to anything else, whether that's, drugs, alcohol. But we just haven't labeled dairy as being a class A drug in that sense, but a lot of these foods are. So they do have addictive properties to them, and a lot of that is also because of the quality. The standard has been lowered over the years. So dairy is one, gluten is another one. This is a huge trigger for people, especially if you have an autoimmune disorder, leaky gut issues. Again, this really goes back to the quality. It's just not the same as it used to be, unfortunately, and it's very hard to find high quality sources when it comes to this. So dairy, gluten, caffeine can be another trigger for people. Alcohol, all right, we know that alcohol is not good for us, especially in high amounts. And again, going back to the quality of alcohol that you're consuming, what that looks like. Are you getting fine wine or are you buying cheap beers at your local grocery store? So alcohol, huge inflammatory response. So we have dairy, gluten, caffeine, alcohol, and then the last one is big, refined sugars. This is just straight up processed foods. When people hear sugar, they think of cookies, cakes, donuts, and yes, that's true. But it can also be packaged foods, things that come in a box, come in a can. Anything that's like pre-made most likely has a ton of refined sugars in it, whether you realize it or not. Some of them may be hidden in there. They might not straight up say sugar on the label, but there's a lot of different words that are associated with this. So those are the main ones, guys. Generally speaking, just processed foods in total are going to have an inflammatory response. And when you think of the standard American diet, that's what we're eating. Also, like a diet high in starchy foods is going to add into that. It's very similar to just having a bunch of sugar. Our body processes it that way. So, we want to make sure if we are eating starch, we're eating vegetable starches and or like starchy vegetables, I should say, and higher quality like grains if we do. So yeah, that is a lot. And I know when people hear that, they're like, I can never give up this, or what am I going to eat? Well, we don't want to overcomplicate this. We're just going to replace these things with what our body actually wants and what it needs and what it's craving, which is fruits and vegetables. Guys, don't overcomplicate this. Don't overthink it. You want to eat the rainbow. You want to have a colorful plate. So when we think of getting rid of the inflammatory foods and replacing them with foods that have anti-inflammatory properties, we're thinking of foods that are vibrant in color, okay? Greens, yellows, purples, things like that, which are gonna come from fruits and vegetables, are going to be the main source of your energy and what your plate should be based around. And then we can also even look into like spices, even though like animal protein, for instance, technically is inflammatory. When we add spices to it, those spices can help like neutralize it. But also going plant-based may be an option. If you're somebody that has an autoimmune issue or digestion problems or severe disease like cancer, it would be wise to go 100% vegan. I should say 100% vegan. So no animal products at all, and then reintroducing them as you get better. But overall, it's a good idea for people to try a plant-based lifestyle, which means you're eating an abundance of fruits and vegetables and you're not relying on animal protein all the time for every single meal. So there's that, guys. Nutritionally speaking, you need to eat an anti-inflammatory diet. Number 2, which shout out to Dr. Damon at Crossroads Chiropractic Natural, I forgot what his thing is called. Crossroads, we'll just say that because I can't remember the full name here. But Dr. Damon, he put me onto this, and I can't say it's my favorite thing in the world, but it does make a difference when it comes to inflammation. I'm still trying to get used to it, but cold showers. Taking cold showers, or if you live near water like I do, doing like a cold plunge into the Gulf during the wintertime, it's great for inflammation. It's great for it. And if you were ever an athlete growing up like I was, maybe you remember taking ice baths or doing ice packs, like taping it around whatever muscle group needed it. Well, why did we do that? Why do professional athletes do things like that? It's to reduce the inflammation. So this is the same concept here. It may mentally take you a while. I know it kind of did me to wrap my brain around it, but give it a try. Give it a try and let me know how you like it, how you don't like it. But I strongly encourage you to try it consistently. And when I mean consistently, I mean you're doing it once or twice a week for, 3 to 6 months before you just give up on it. Like, actually give it a try. All right, number 3 here is intentional movement. So if you want to reduce inflammation in your body, you need to move your body more. Exercise has been proven to reduce inflammation, and we don't move our bodies enough. A lot of us are sedentary, and so if we can get up and get active, then we can really start putting ourselves in a position to prevent and fight disease. So, guys, intentional movement is just that. It could be strength training in the gym, lifting heavy weights. But if that's not your thing, just going on a walk or dancing or kayaking or rock climbing, whatever it is that you love to do and that makes you move your body and it makes you happy, do that thing or those things and incorporate it into your daily routine. You do need to move your body every single day with intention, so make sure that you're getting that movement in. All right, number 4, we're gonna combine these. If you wanna reduce inflammation and therefore prevent and reverse disease, we need to focus on getting quality sleep, okay? Your sleep is huge, and getting quality sleep has been proven to reduce the inflammatory response in the body. So when we think about sleep, there's a lot of factors that go into it. Nutrition, like we talked about before, but also, you know, creating a morning and evening routine, limiting like your exposure to electronics. I believe we did a video last week about this, so make sure to check that out if you're looking for ways to boost your quality of sleep. But the next one is also managing your stress levels. We live in a society that is very high wired, that's go, go, go all the time, and it's a very high stress environment. And so if we can control our stress, we need to control it. Maybe that means planning ahead. Maybe that means learning to say no, or not committing yourself to certain things that do not serve you and your overall vision and your purpose, okay? So really being purpose driven can help manage your stress levels. Now, if there's certain things that happen outside of your control, like life, it happens, okay? Then you need to find ways to manage that stress in a healthy way. So that could be your intentional movement, okay? Exercise could be that for you. But we also want to think of things that aren't physically demanding, that can also quiet our mind. So that could be a routine that you developed around, you know, prayer, meditation, essential oils, listening to positive music or positive podcasts, doing breath work, journaling, whatever that looks like for you. But you want to make sure it's something that you truly enjoy. But again, studies show that managing your stress levels and maintaining a healthy form of stress, because all things are stress on the body, but some can be positive stressors, others can be negative stressors. If we can really manage those things, then we can start to reduce our inflammation. And number 5, the last one here, is reducing our toxic exposure. And particularly, we're going to talk about household products with this one. So from your laundry detergent to your cleaning products to your shampoo, conditioner, soap, lotion, makeup, ladies, all these things are loaded with toxins, okay? So unless you're being intentional about getting higher quality products that strive to provide a healthier environment, then you are getting way more toxic exposure than you probably care to know about. And with our skin being the largest organ, when you are absorbing these things, a lot of times we apply these things topically, either directly or indirectly, then that is getting directly into our bloodstream, and there can be a buildup with this. Chronic toxic exposure can in itself cause a lot of these diseases and illnesses that we're facing in today's day and age, right? So really reducing and cutting back on that, whether that means eliminating them completely, you know, like I am today, going makeup free, or maybe that means, you know, you're getting a higher quality of makeup that is dedicated to not putting these toxic exposures into their products. Or maybe it's, you know, getting rid of your normal cleaning products that you get like at Walmart or, you know, like the Dollar Tree, and you are making your own cleaning products at home, or you're using higher quality products. Like, you know, I know Young Living has a great line for cleaning. So guys, whatever that looks like for you, if we can be more aware of how many toxins you're actually being exposed to every day, then we can start to reduce the amount that you are using and therefore help reduce the inflammation in your body. So that's all I have for you guys today. Remember that all modern diseases have one thing in common, and that is inflammation. And 5 things that you can start doing today to reduce that inflammation and therefore prevent and reverse disease is going to be to eat an anti-inflammatory diet, take cold showers, practice intentional movement, get quality sleep, and manage healthy levels of stress, and then reduce your toxin exposure. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in. Go ahead and let me know in the comments if you are already doing these things or if you plan on incorporating them. I'd love to hear from you. And as always, I'll see you next week for your next dose of Trainer Talk Tuesday. Never give up, never lose hope, never settle.